Hello and welcome to Epic Eats. You may be wondering, what on earth is this chaos in front of me? What are all of these skewers? Well, this is an Epic Eats Boxing Day brunch Bloody Mary. And we've got all the familiar bits, so we've got some celery in there. Essentially a Christmas dinner piled on top of it in skewer form. So I'm going to take this now, and you can watch the rest of this video to work out how we made this. Okay, here are the ingredients that you're going to need, and as you can see, there's quite a lot here. We've got spirits for making the Bloody Mary portion, and then we've also got some regular suspects such as parsnips for the food side of this. So the idea of this came about from the idea of Bloody Mary is usually served with celery, and on Boxing Day usually there's a variety of different bits and pieces left over. And then we thought, well, what could we use in order to make a drink out of this that also had a bit of an interesting twist on it? And that's where we've ended up with this. Okay, so let's get to it. First part that we're going to make is going to be the chicken wings. And for this we're going to need chicken wings, some tomato ketchup, mustard, whole grain preferably, honey, a little bit of oil, salt and pepper. We're going to use half a chili, and we're also going to use garlic clove as well. So we'll just quickly dispatch with half of the chili, keep the other half for later. We're only using half here because we're only doing 4 chicken wings. Now, if you were doing this for maybe some friends, then you would probably use the full chili, maybe even 2. You're not looking to blow people's heads off with how strong this should be. This should just be something just to give a mild heat. More after that kind of barbecue-y taste that works really well with chicken wing. Now, I'm no chef, so my knife skills, I appreciate, could probably do some work. And in the bowl with those. Onto garlic. Just chop this up quite fine. All of this is going to be going in the oven with the chicken wings, so don't worry about getting the pieces too small. Chefs make this look so easy, especially doing it in front of a camera. And I can tell you, this is one of the first times that we've kind of done a voiceover for a video, and it's not easy. Okay, in the pan with that. And we'll have that last little bit as well. In you go. Next step, a little bit of ketchup. Or a lot of ketchup. And we'll then have a teaspoon of whole grain mustard. In we go. And we want a healthy drizzle of honey to go in this as well. Good solid grind of pepper. And the same again of salt. Okay, all those ingredients in the bowl. I really don't want to be mixing this with my hands, so I'm going to take the cheap way out. I'm just going to mix this up with a pair of tongs. We'll then also use the tongs again to move the things into the bowl as well. Because we're only doing 4 of them, we don't need a large dish. I would recommend that you give plenty of space for them just so that they brown up quite nicely. And any spare sauce that's left in the bowl afterwards, we will then just top the chicken with as well. Just make sure that all of that flavour is going into the oven with the chicken. And there we go. Okay, that's the first one done. And we'll just go put this in the oven. Okay, next, roast potatoes. So we've got some herb mix, some potatoes, salt, pepper, and some oil. Nothing too fancy here. So we want the potatoes to ideally be bite-sized pieces. So cut them up as many times as you feel necessary. For me, I carried on going and eventually found that out of each potato I was getting about 8 pieces, and that felt to be about the right sort of number. At this point, I'll also mention that I clearly forgot the idea that I was only making a drink for 1 person, or 2 people perhaps, and these aren't all going to fit. Whoops. We'll use the other ones later for something else. And just give this a grind of salt, and a healthy grind of black pepper as well. And just add a bit of interest, a bit mixed herb seasoning. I think this is an Italian herb mix, so there's bits of rosemary, thyme, oregano, things like that in there. Great. And we'll just mix those up. And try not to let any of them fall out, unlike what I did. This dish is now going to go into an oven that's at 180 degrees Celsius. That's 390 degrees Fahrenheit. Altogether, all of this food takes around about 40 minutes to cook. This is probably the longest that I've ever spent making a cocktail. Get rid of the bits of potato that fell on the floor. On to parsnips. What better accompaniment for parsnips than maple syrup? So we'll have another dish. Top and tail the parsnip. We're looking for healthy sized chunks. Parsnip tends to shrink a little bit in the oven. Don't make them too small. Remember that we have to get a skewer through these later. So I'm just quartering this. And then once I've quartered it, I'll then dice into bite-sized chunks. Now, as you'll see here, I originally thought that those would be a good size, and then decided to go back on the size that I had and trim them down a little bit. Remember, root veg in the oven takes a long time to cook, and we don't want to be waiting around too long for this. Top that off with a healthy coating of oil. And then just layer over some maple syrup over the top of that. You want to get a nice covering. These are going to join the roast potatoes and the chicken wings in the oven. If you get a chance halfway through, take all of the dishes out, give them a bit of a shake, and also add some more maple syrup to the parsnips. Okay, what's next? What's next? Oh yeah, who could forget? Pigs and blankets. Wouldn't be Christmas without pigs and blankets, right? So these are store-bought ones. Feel free to make your own. And all we're going to do with these is we're just going to lay 5 of them out into the dish. Just arrange them, give them a bit of space. These should crispen up nicely. And just to add to the Christmas theme, we're just going to top these off with a little bit of cranberry sauce. You will see the error of my ways here in that I'm contacting the raw meat and then putting the spoon back in the cranberry sauce jar. Rest assured, this cranberry sauce went in the bin after making this. In the oven with these as well. Great. Now we just have to leave things in the oven to cook. Probably going to take around about 40 minutes. In the meantime, what we can get on with is prepping some of the cold additions. So, just got a block of cheese here. Yeah, this is just good quality cheddar cheese, but there's nothing stopping you from cutting up any reasonably firm cheese. Remember, it has to be able to be threaded onto a skewer, so something like a brie would work pretty well for this, but more crumbly cheeses you may have more difficulty with. So just chop these up. Thread them onto the skewer. Remember, the skewer needs to be quite long. This is going to be sitting in a drink. We don't want the food to be making contact with the drink if we can all help it. I found that filling the skewer about half full with food and then leaving the other part bare to sit in the drink worked pretty well. But depending on the size of the glass that you're using, you may find that different measurements work better for you. So alongside the celery, we also decided to put in some batons of carrot. Split this up. I wish I'd picked a straighter carrot for this, but you get the idea. So we'll have 2 of those. Get rid of those bits of the carrot. And for the celery, I've already tailed these, so we're just going to top them as well. Get rid of all those bits. And we'll put these in the drink as well later on. Now, you don't have to worry about where this cheese is going. This cheese is coming with me. It's been about 40 minutes, and now we're ready to take the dishes out of the oven. I've got my trusty lobster claw hand oven mitt, and we'll just start bringing these out. Parsnips browned up nicely. Next up, roast potatoes. Followed by pigs in blankets. People seem to have different ideas as to how well done they like them. I like them quite well done. Ordinarily, I don't like things too well done, but I'll make an exception for pigs in blankets. Also sausages on the barbecue as well. I don't know why, it's just one of those things. And finally, we've got the chicken wings as well. Okay, now it's build the drink time. So, first up, we'll start off with a double shot, so that's 4 shots of vodka. Now, for an ordinary Bloody Mary, we would only be using a double rather than 4 shots. But given the size of the glass that we have here, or rather jug, as you may be able to spot the spout on the side of it, we're going with 4 shots. And add lemon to taste. I'm not a huge fan of the citrus flavour, so all we'll just be using the juice from 1 full lemon. If you feel like it needs a little bit more zing, feel free to squeeze another lemon or maybe just half another lemon into it as well. Okay, so a funny story about our lemon squeezer. We bought some lemons from Costco and they were enormous lemons. We used them a few times with the lemon squeezer, however, our lemon squeezer has now deformed. It's no longer circular, it's now ovoid. It's a bit of a pain, so if anyone has any suggestions on an alternative lemon squeezer, let me know in the comments below. Liam Perrins? Can't have Bloody Mary without Liam Perrins. There we are. Tabasco, any hot sauce will do. Tabasco is the bartender's favourite, but if you want to use something different, go ahead. Bit of a grind of black pepper. Some people like to add salt at this stage as well. Now that we've combined the initial ingredients, I usually like to add the ice at this point. Just get the right size ice cube in first. It always makes a mess. Always. And then we'll just add the other one in there as well. Bar spoon, we'll just give that a stir, cool things down a bit. And then fill the rest of the glass with some Big Tom or your preferred tomato juice. In total, not including the ice in here, there's probably about a pint of liquid. I just want to mix that up, give it a good stir. That's looking great. Now's a good opportunity to taste your Bloody Mary, see what you think of it, make any adjustments as necessary. That's pretty good. I'm just gonna grab the cold additions that we created earlier. You'll notice I've left quite a gap at the top of this glass, and there's good reason for this, because when we start adding things like the carrot sticks and the celery, you'll see that the level in the glass will rise and will eventually end up sitting near the top of it. Insert those at random, and then we'll follow that up by adding our cheese. Okay, we're going to need a little bit more space here, so we'll just get rid of that plate, move the glass or jug over to one side, and we'll grab a fresh skewer, and these are a little bit hot. We'll just start skewering up the pigs in blankets. There we go, get those skewered up, just like that, and just find somewhere to wedge it into the glass. It's going to get pretty crowded here, so don't worry too much about placement at this stage. And next we're on to the maple roast parsnips. You don't want to overcook these, otherwise it'll be a nightmare trying to get these things threaded onto the skewer without them falling apart. Move 3 of these on to start with, bump them up the skewer a little bit, then go back and add a few more. We don't want to overload this, we really don't want soggy parsnips. Bloody Mary and parsnips, probably not the best mix. Just arrange those there. Be careful, the parsnips really don't enjoy staying on the skewer too much. I find that I need to hold them in place a little bit. And we'll just follow that up with some roast potatoes. I must admit, whilst recording this, it was a real challenge to not want to just kind of pick away at these and just eat bits and pieces as I was making this. Just stack up about 5 of those as well. And just squeeze that in. Now you can see the level of Bloody Mary in the glass is slowly rising up the side of it as we continue to add more and more bits in. Chicken wings. Chicken wings are quite big, so we're not going to be threading all of these onto one skewer. We are going to be doing 2 per skewer, so there's going to be 2 skewers of the chicken wings and 1 skewer of everything else. Hopefully you have better success than me and your chicken doesn't stick to the bottom of the dish. Thread that into the side of the glass. That's looking pretty good already. But that's okay, we have more chicken. What isn't made better by the addition of more chicken, especially barbecue chicken. Sweet sticky glaze on the outside. Let's get that chicken threaded on there. And pop it in the glass, find somewhere suitable for it to sit. And there we go. One Boxing Day Bloody Mary brunch. Would recommend that you actually sit this on a plate. As you can see, the glass is very full, and having somewhere to put the chicken bones, the empty skewers, is definitely something that I would recommend. I would probably also recommend serving this with a pair of straws. This is a lot of Bloody Mary for one person, probably best split between 2 people. Give this a quick twist. You've got those pigs in blankets, maple glazed parsnips, herby roast potatoes, barbecue spicy chicken wings, and a Bloody Mary. This is 3 of your 5 a day. You've got the carrot, you've got the celery, and you've also got the Bloody Mary as well. This has been Epic Eats. I hope you've enjoyed watching, but I hope you have a great day.